Brahma Jigyasa is called Neti Neti, the process by which one analyzes existence to search out the absolute truth. This method continues as long as one is not situated in his spiritual life. His spiritual life is Brahma Bhuta. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, text, chapter 30, text 20. The self-realized state, in the words of Bhagavad Gita, 1854. Brahma Bhuta Prasan Atma na sochati na kankshati sama sarvesu bhutesu mad bhaktim lavate param. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed to every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. The idea is to enter into the Parabhakti, the transcendental devotional service of the Supreme Lord. To obtain this, one must analyze one's existence. But when one is actually engaged in devotional service, he should not bother seeking out knowledge. By simply engaging devotional service undeviatingly, one will always attain in the liberated condition. Mamyo Vyabhicharena Bhakti Yogena Sevate Sagunan Samtitya Satyaitan Brahma Bhoya Kalpate. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, text 26. The unflinching execution of devotional service is in itself Brahma Bhuta. Bhagavatam, Canto 4, chapter 30, text 20. Another important feature in this connection is Anena Yogena Yatopadesam. The instructions received from the spiritual master must be followed immediately. One should not deviate from or surpass the instructions of the spiritual master. One should not be simply intent on consulting books, but should simultaneously execute the spiritual master's order, Yatopadesha. Mystic power should be achieved to enable one to give up the material consumption. But when one actually engages in devotional service, one does not need to practice the mystic yoga system. The point is that one can give up the practice of yoga, but devotional service cannot be given up. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, Text 10. Atma Ramasya Muneyo Nirgrantaya Api Guru Karmane Kuruvante Ahitu Kim Bhaktim Ittam Bhuta Guno Hare. Even those who are liberated Atmaramas must always engage in devotional service. One may give up the practice of yoga when one is self-realized, but at no stage can one give up devotional service. All other activities for self-realization, including yoga and philosophical speculation, may be given up, but devotional service must be retained at all times. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Lokanath Swaminiti Namani. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namani. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisete Sunyavadi Paschate Desatarane Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurimritam Yena Tasme Sri Guruve Nama Sri Chaitanya Manovishnam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Pada Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadhutam Parijana Sahita Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Anvitam Cha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते जयतां श्रुतो पंगोर मम मन मतिर्गति मत सर्वस्पदं भोज राधा मदन मोहन तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धु भयो एव च पतितनां पावनभयो वैष्णव्यो नमो नमः ओम गौ जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा to everyone and welcome to our morning Srimad Bhagavatam classes. Today's reading is from Canto 5, Chapter 5, Text 14. I'll read it. Karmayashem Hirdaya Granthi Bandhanam Avidya Sadhitam Apramataha Anena Yogani Yatopadesha Yam Yagve Apayo Parameta Yoganta. Translation. As I have advised you, my dear sons, you should act accordingly. Be very careful. By this means, you will be freed from the ignorance of the desire for fruitive activity, and the knot of bondage in the heart will be completely severed. For further advancements, you should also give up the means. That is, you should not become attached to the process of liberation. Here, Lord Rasaprayan is instructing his sons on devotional service. I just recap the story so far, what Rasaprayan has said in the last 13 slokas. Not going to read everything, just a summary. Canto 5 of the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam primarily focuses on the teachings of Lord Rasaprayan to his sons. His core message revolves around the importance of human life and how it should be utilized for spiritual realization rather than mere sense gratification. And a breakdown of what he has said so far. He emphasized the purpose of human life is, and he further emphasized that human life form is a rare and valuable opportunity for spiritual advancement. He cautions against wasting this opportunity on activities that animals also engage in, such as eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. He stresses, Lord Rasaprayan stresses that the true purpose of human life is to attain liberation from the cycle of birth and death. So he's warning us. So through his sons, he's educating us that the whole purpose of human life is to obtain liberation from the cycle of birth and death and not to waste our life like animals. And he also told the path of liberation is one, detachment from material attachments, association with saintly persons, sadhus, engaging in devotional service to the Supreme Lord, practicing austerities and penances, cultivating qualities like tolerance and compassion, seeking guidance from a bona fide spiritual master. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points he has mentioned. The dangers of material also warns us about the dangers of materialism, of excessive attachment to material possessions. Family and social status will hinder in our liberation or devotional service. Lord also explains that these attachments lead to entanglement in the cycle of karma and suffering. So remember, karma, whatever you do, you have to, it comes around. So we need to, even good karma, you have to come back, and like if you help somebody and you have to come back, the other person will help you out in the next life. So this is what Lord Rashabda is warning us, that to get out of the entanglement. This doesn't mean that you should not help people, but the fact is that you should not be attached. You help it and forget about it. So, so that it's help him as a service to Lord Krishna rather than service to our fellow beings or family members or relatives. And he tells us the importance of spiritual knowledge. Lord highlights the importance of acquiring spiritual knowledge to understand the true nature of the soul and its relationship with the Supreme Lord. So that's, he highlighted, important is that we know we got to have enough knowledge to understand who we are and what is our relationship with the Supreme Personality. Mainly why we should try and get liberation, because this questions everybody, a lot of people are asking that what's wrong with this world? We are happy here, but true thing they don't remember that this happiness here is very short-lived. Maybe we may be happy for all of this life, but then what happens to the next one? Unless we go ahead, we'll repeat, and we'll take birth again and go around in the cycle of death and birth. In a sense, Lord Rishabdev is teaching. The teachings are called to awaken from the slumber of material illusion and embrace a life of spiritual awareness and devotion. He's trying to redirect the focus of his sons and the by extension, all of humanity. Through his sons, his redirect, or the message is to all human beings to get out of this material pleasure to the internal bliss of his spiritual life. And the sloka 14, just coming back to it. I would like to go through the paper, some of the, like here, the spiritual life of Brahma Bhuta. I really like to read the translation there. Canto 4, chapter 30, text 20. Always engaging in the activities of devotional service, devotees feel ever increasingly fresh and new in all their activities, and all Noah, the super soul within the heart of the devotee, makes everything increasingly fresh. This is known as the Brahman position by the advocates of absolute truth. In such a liberated stage, Brahmabhuta, one is never bewildered, nor does one lament or become unnecessarily jubilant. Two things. Don't lament about what you're gone, and we don't become unnecessarily happy or jubilant. This is due to the Brahma Bhuta situation. You don't, once you are in that situation, that happens. And Srila Prabhupada explains further this sloka. A devotee is inspired by the super soul within the heart to advance in devotional service in a variety of ways. The devotee does not feel hackneyed or stereotyped, nor does he feel that he is in a stagnant position. In the material world, if one engages in chanting a material name, he will feel tired after chanting a few times. However, one can chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra all day and night and never feel tired. As chanting is increased, it will come out new and fresh. Srila Rup Goswami said that if he could somehow get millions of years and tongues, then he could release spiritual bliss by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. There is really nothing uninspiring for a highly advanced devotee. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that He is situated in everyone's heart and that He helps the living entity forget and remember. By the grace of Lord, the devotees gets inspiration. Tesam satata yuktanam vastam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayante, which to those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. As stated, Kushal Karmanyam, those engaged in auspicious activities in devotional service are guided by the super soul described in this verse as Jnana, one who knows everything, past, present, and future. The super soul gives instructions to the sincere, unalloyed devotee on how he can progress more and more in approaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Jiva Goswami is in this connection says that the super soul, the plenary expansion of personality of Godhead, exists in everyone's heart, but in the heart of the devotee, he reveals himself as ever increasingly new. Inspired by him, the devotee experiences increased transcendental bliss in the execution of his devotional service. Going back, I would also like to go to Canto 1, chapter 7, text 10, where Srila Prabhupada points out this mystic power should be achieved to enable one to give up the material conception. But when one actually engages in devotional service, one does not need to practice the mystic yoga system. The point is that one can give up the practice of yoga, but devotional service cannot be given up. So, summing up Slok 14, the sense of Slok 14 is that the ultimate goal of a spiritual practice, particularly within the context of Srimad Bhagavatam, which emphasizes bhakti yoga, transcends the need for very process used to achieve it. Here is a logical breakdown. I'll list some. Bhakti yoga is the primary path. The Srimad Bhagavatam prioritizes Bhakti Yoga or devotional service to the Supreme Lord Krishna as the most direct and effective means of spiritual liberation. Bhakti is purifying effect. Bhakti Yoga, when practiced purely, naturally purifies the heart of material desires and attachments. This purification occurs through engaging in activities such as chanting, hearing, remembering, and serving the Lord. The four things: chanting, hearing, remembering, and serving. And detachment is a byproduct. As one progresses in pure bhakti, detachment from material desires become a natural byproduct of love for Krishna. We don't have to make much effort. It comes up one side as your bhakti increases, services increases, the other side. You don't have time to worry about those things. So naturally, if one increases, the other one goes down. So without making any particular effort. The devotee's consciousness becomes fully absorbed in the Lord, rendering material attractions insignificant. So you don't have time to worry about material things. You're more concerned. Your time is spent in serving the Lord. The slok also highlights that the climax of this process, the devotee reaches a state where even the conscious effort to detach becomes obsolete. This is not to say that the devotee abandons bhakti, but rather that the need for a separate, deliberate act of detachment disappears. In pure spiritual existence, the devotee is then situated in a state of pure, unalloyed love and service to the Lord. It is a state of pure being where there is no longer a need for any process to remove material contamination, as that contamination has been fully removed. So there's no need to. If it's already cleaned up, so why bother about it? It's gone. It is like when a disease has been fully cured, there is no longer a need for the medicine. Or another example is that when you need a needle or something to take a thorn out, once the thorn is gone, the tool is no longer, the needle is no longer necessary. So to take out the thorn, you needed the needle. So to get pure devotional, once you reach your goal, the tool is not necessary. In summary, Slok 4 signifies that pure bhakti yoga leads to a state of complete spiritual liberation where the devotee is naturally free from material desires and the conscious effort of detachment becomes unnecessary. They are simply situated in pure loving service. Okay, that's all I have to contribute. Any comments or any contributions from the Vaishnavas around or any question? I'll do my best. Not a expert in devotional service. I'm just been repeating what Prabhupada has written. Okay, Haribol. Hello, anybody there?
Hare Krishna, Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, we're just ready for any reflection, comments, anybody would Hare Krishna, Prabhu, there doesn't seem to be any comments, so I think we'll stop here.
Okay, I'll just read this sloka again. Karmesham hridaya granti bandham avidya sadhitam apramataha anena yogena yatopadesham samyagvayapayo parmeta yogat. As I have advised you, my dear sons, you should act accordingly. Be very careful. By these means, you will be freed from the ignorance of the desire for fruitive activity, and the knot of bondage in the heart will be completely severed. For further advancement, you should also give up the means, that is, you should not become attached to the process of liberation itself. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Jai. Vanchakalpadurvesha, Kripa, Srivesha.
Hindu Bhayo Chapatitanam Pavani Bhayo Vaishnavyo Namo Namo. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Jai.
Guruji.